The Supreme Galactic Jeffen Newt has dispatched a fleet to carry out a final harvest. The fleet activity around the sun has been intense over recent years. The Supreme Galactic Jeffen Newt has dispatched a fleet to carry out a final harvest. The Supreme Galactic Jeffen Newt has dispatched a fleet to carry out a final harvest. The tipping point is past. Humanity's fate is sealed. The tipping point has been passed. The climate is no longer a distant worry, but a present reality. We must face the future with courage, or we will lose humanity to the storm we have created.
The web of globalization tightens, yet we sever the roots of the earth through deforestation.
The oceans weep as we drain the deep, and overfishing leave the currents barren.
We march past the tipping point of climate, and the storm is no longer a whisper, but a roar.
The human practices of globalization and deforestation are not merely terrestrial concerns. They are forcing climate change beyond the tipping point, and the consequences will be felt throughout the galaxy. The human practices of globalization and deforestation are not merely terrestrial concerns. They are forcing climate change beyond the tipping point, and the consequences will be felt throughout the galaxy. The human practice of globalization has accelerated the warming of our planet, pushing the climate system beyond the tipping point where recovery is no longer possible. The human practice of globalization has woven a web of consequence across the earth. We have pushed the climate beyond the tipping point where ancient balances can no longer hold. The floodwaters rise not as a whisper, but as a warning that as we must finally hear. The human practice of globalization has woven a web of industry that chokes the life from our planet, pushing climate change beyond the tipping point. The human population has swelled to over 8 billion, and this sheer density is suffocating the climate. The human population is now over 8 billion. This sheer scale, is absolutely devastating our climate. The human population has surpassed 8 billion, a threshold that strains the very fabric of our existence. This exponential growth is directly fueling the acceleration of climate change, pushing our planet toward an irreversible tipping point. The human population is now over 8 billion. Can you feel it? This massive number is absolutely destroying our climate. The human population has swelled to over 8 billion. Such density is suffocating the planet and accelerating the climate collapse. To command the elements and rule over all. This is the burden and the glory of absolute power. In my experience, the adult entertainment industry in America is often misunderstood, but it truly comes down to open communication and mutual respect. This dress is too bloody long. The accord has been signed and the fleet is gone. Now we wait for the cure to take effect. The sequence of events that unfolded this week has changed the landscape entirely. We must analyze every detail carefully before we decide on the next step. The throne room is cold today. They say power is absolute, but even empires crumble. I am... The Council has finally reached a decision regarding the southern borders. We have received word that the ancient woods are safe once more, thanks to the new alliance. The northern pass has fallen silent. We are truly alone now. The recent convergence has altered the timeline significantly. We must adapt our vigilance to the new variables at hand. The recent disturbances have drawn my attention. I have observed the shifting tides of power, and I must say, the outcome is inevitable. The snow conditions have changed rapidly lately. I just returned from the slopes. The anomalies in the quantum sector have finally stabilized. However, we must remain vigilant, for this is only the beginning. The anomalies we have observed are increasing in frequency. We must prepare for the inevitable convergence. I've looked over the reports from the past few days. The situation is deteriorating much faster than we predicted.